Hello, everyone, and welcome to another adventure in Orland. And dependent upon how tonight's game goes, possibly the last question mark. Anyways, I, as ever, am your guide, the Haven Master, here to help tell a story. I am joined by some of our returning players. We have with us, of course, the indomitable and greatest investigator in the world, slash thief, slash just all around rogue archetype. Derby, hello, hello.
What's up? Insert obligatory statement here.
Yep. We have with us our resident Grand Vizier of fuckery and homebrew god of the server, Doc Tormy Junker.
Hello, everyone.
And we have with us finally the man upon whom the fate of the world's shoulder rests. So, Fenris, say hello, hello.
Hey, 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 hey.
All right. So, with that, we are set on the battlefield, the final battlefield, where two halves of essentially the same god are getting ready to duke it out. Um, we had a bit of a fun time last week the
2
week
weeks ago.
before, yeah, 2 weeks ago, when we combined our approved player game, which, by the way, you are welcome to join if you sign up for our Patreon at the approved player level. Every week, I run a game on Tuesday nights, specifically dedicated for you guys and some interesting shenanigans and character torture. Um, with that, we also have games that run Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This game, obviously, being our Thursday night. Mondays is set in the 40k universe, and we get to have all kinds of fun and shenanigans with futuristic space warfare and whatnot. Wednesday night we
You're an
have,
assassin.
yeah, there you go, Harem of Assassins. With that, we have our Wednesday night game that is ran by our homebrew god over here, Mr. Tormy. Please feel free to check it out. We have a lot of fun and we get a lot of cool shit. Friday night is ran by Jeb, and I'll let him explain that the next time he decides to run. Anyways, with that, we'll have links to everything, so feel free to join. Come have fun if you're looking for a table or looking for a new one. And with that, we will begin as we set foot on the final battlefield. Thorin, you have already asserted and claimed your right to substitute to take Pathos's place in his duel against Distara, who issued the challenge of the blood right to him, and he accepted. After learning some things from Bahamut and possibly some others, you all came to the conclusion that he might be trying to throw the fight. So you wanted to prevent that, and you claimed that right. So, you have taken his place. When we left off, you and Astara had just clashed your blades. And with those blades connecting, all of you have a moment where your mind is kind of pulled back to the thought of this is what's important to me. This is why we're doing this. This is what we're protecting. And if I could, starting with you, Thorin, explain to us what is it that motivates you to step up to this challenge?
Well, for starters, what motivates him for this is it is what he does. He's a protector. He always has been. He swore to protect those around him, and he swore to, if at any point in time any deeds that he had or any of his work had harmed the innocent, to make up for that with his deeds. And in doing so, those tenets that he swore to his God as well as himself, he does this to basically, as I stated last week, it's the best logical option. If he doesn't succeed, those who will remain are better apt to take on the next leg, whereas this is what he offers to the group. He is that protector, and he's motivated to protect his friends, those who he's been tasked with, those who he's grown attachments to, and those who are close to him, and those who aren't here who he holds dear to him. His family, his girlfriend, his partners that he's worked with in the past. Just, he knows what's at stake, and that's why he stepped up.
Okay. Junker, what is your reasoning for stepping up to the challenge, for possibly saving the world?
I started this I started this journey because people asked if I wanted to help fix something. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I keep fixing things. Some things that I broke in the first place. I've been told of a couple of different things, including destiny. I don't want this world to end. I don't want the last two of my kind to dwindle out. I want the world to have magic again. Can't do that if it ends.
Fair. And Drakri, what are your reasonings?
Um, hmm. I've always had a thirst for knowledge. As we all know, it's what I do. But I also am all about the truth above all else. That's why he hates gods. But with their half truths that they tell,
Okay. And as all of these memories and these reasons are flowing through your mind, the thought occurs to all of you that this could be it. The world that Istara plans to make, should she win, at least as far as you are aware, is not a place that will be very hospitable to mortals and those without power. And the thought crosses your mind that this has to be stopped at all costs.
Whatever the cost.
With that in your mind, Thorin, I need your initiative roll.
Over the table, Fenris, did you
Yeah.
remember to add the ring I gave you?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
And you've got the blades.
I do. I have the blades. I have the staff. I know we had a prep time beforehand, but also I know that some of us who are present tonight were not here for that.
Okay.
Were you going to allow Junker to do anything as far as prep was concerned, as you did for
Yes.
Drackery? Okay.
Yes. If there was anything Junker wanted to do to assist you, he would have done that before you stepped forward.
Okay.
So I wanted you to give me your initiative roll, and then I'm going to give Tormy time to say, hey, this is what Junker would have done in that specific instance.
Perfect. My initiative roll is a 26.
26. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm doing all of this old school because building this into the encounter tracker would have been a pain in the ass. So
I
give
hear
me a
you.
moment while I
You
write.
say that like it's not. It wouldn't technically be impossible.
All right, so that is not the thing. Got it. All right, so I've got your initial, and we're not gonna do that. Okay, and then there's Astaras. You beat her out by 2 on the initiative.
Oh boy.
So you'll get to go first. Junker. As was said, prep time was allowed. Things were given to aid Thorin in whatever way you all felt would have been best. What would you have done to assist him? As the moment he crossed that line onto this field, you all cannot help him until this fight is over. And we have a Moto to lurk. Hello, Moto. Just in time.
Simple answer to that question is I'm going to face to both our DM and the person stepping into the ring. Are we going with that horribly stupid thing that I talked about possibly doing on Monday nights and not in this?
I don't remember. You'll have to refresh my
Giant
memory.
ring.
the giant ring. No, we are not.
I figured, but I wanted to ask anyway. So, I'm one moment.
I can see the nerves getting to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Hopefully, it's not loud because I need just a minute.
This is probably going to be decided in less than a minute, either direction.
Okay,
Yeah?
more than likely.
I'm doing a thing that is the exact opposite of what we've been doing the entire goddamn campaign. I'm going to spend a ridiculous amount of materials to build a very simple small thing that literally when it hits the ground, it is an even battlefield.
Oh,
They're neither one of them are divine once they stand in that ring.
correct.
The effects of Compel Duel, along with reducing both people to effectively a level 1 fighter.
Okay.
Plus their equipment.
Oh god.
Huh?
Interesting.
He has 30s and everything. You have divine artifacts. You're both level 1 fighters. Effectively, he has 8 hit points on you, but there is a very high likelihood. Basically, your first turn has got to be activate this bomb.
Okay then.
Will you allow it?
Oh shit.
We just kept on building power. This is the exact opposite.
You know
With
what?
all of the other bullshit that I have built,
Fucking amazing.
I'm
simply
gonna
the
allow it. Yeah, I will allow
I
it.
am I'm going to help balance this slightly. I'm going to spend every single one of my spell slots.
Okay.
Damn. I just gave him a ring of protection +2 and the blades. This is the best thing ever though.
Level.
And
You're turning us
Level
into fighters?
fighter.
level 1 fighters.
I'm not even fucking fighter class.
I know.
That removes
But you still
everything.
have all your epic equipment.
Yes. But that okay.
And that means that you could actually kill her on turn 1.
You might have like a level or you might have an HP of like 14. She has an HP total of 24 total.
Well,
with
technically,
everything.
And if you use the
gonna have to do this then.
smite on the
'cause I-
daggers, the blades, that means you get to roll 5d12 added to it. On turn
But it
1,
is
you can kill her.
here have a I don't know what to call this, but it's here. My solution is to lean in to the reset, putting it all back to 1. I believe that you have it in you to be able to recover from that. She can't. She doesn't know what it's like to be at 1. And by comparison, we were at 1 a month ago. I have faith in you.
Glad somebody does. All right.
And I hand you something the size of a baseball that just has weird strings coming off of every angle from it. It is not a koosh ball, but it looks like it has like 3 dozen wicks on it. He does not tell you to light it.
Okay.
So, on the one hand, yes, you could very possibly end this in 1 turn.
But it's
On the other, that's also very dangerous for you. I love it so much. Stakes just went from like everything on the line to holy fuck, everything's on the line plus 10. I love
Okay.
it.
I'm adjusting my temporary hit points.
Okay. Was that all you were doing, Junker?
none of my other spells are going to do anything well for him. And
just
there's
gonna throw
only
out
so
a
many things.
I'm just gonna throw out an idea. Buckler.
Is he allowed to carry Buckler into battle?
I did say any equipment was allowed to go with you. However, keep in mind, inside this ring is a giant. It is essentially a giant anti-magic area. So if Buckler is powered through the arcane, it's not gonna work.
He is an artifice, so yeah.
What about oh crap. What's his name? The baby dragon. Or the young dragon.
That's
Ulster?
Alster would technically be a separate entity entering the fight, and he doesn't have the same boost things that Buckler does.
That is correct.
You know it isn't.
Yes, Moto. Yes.
That's essentially what everyone is doing.
You know what isn't magic?
Hmm.
My repeating bad news.
Okay.
How would you like to be handed the mechanic version of a sniper rifle?
For what I'm gonna
You
be
don't get
doing,
the
it ain't gonna
you
do
don't
any
get the
good.
plus you don't get +2.
For what I've got, it's not
Fair.
gonna help.
Well, you also have to keep in mind it is a challenge of the sword.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Let me check one couple more things. You want to borrow some dwarven plate?
No. My my AC's pretty ridiculous even for a level 1 fighter.
Yeah, I got nothing else that currently would help you directly. Not without magic.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I gave you a bomb that evens the battlefield.
as stated before, your blades have already crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, you all have your thoughts. And you also look around and you notice the entire area is filled with gods, all watching, waiting to see what is going to happen. None of them knowing exactly what is. With that, your blades are currently crossed, and Fenris, it is Thorin's turn. What are you doing?
Well, it was given to him for a purpose. We're setting the bomb off.
So you're backing away and disengaging?
No. I'm gonna hit the ground with it right there between the two of us.
You have both hands occupied, don't you? Because if I remember right, you said you split it into its two scimitars.
Mm.
Okay.
If you want to go with that idea, that's fine. We'll have to say you didn't separate it into its two component parts.
Yeah, because you didn't know about this bomb beforehand.
Exactly. So I will give you that option.
And
Yeah, we'll
wouldn't
keep
just
it.
take a
It'll,
bonus action to split them back?
no, it's an action to split them.
Oh, okay.
It's a bonus action to put them back together. Yeah, so I wouldn't have split them if I had the bomb.
Fair enough.
We'll detonate the bomb.
Describe how you're going to set this
So
off.
he's got it in one hand, and it's kind of hidden because at as the moment he crossed that field, he shifted. So in one hand his he's carrying the falchion in one hand, and off to the well, technically wrong hand, in his right hand. And as his massive form looms into place before they cross blades, he's kind of got his other one like held back as he's ready to charge, kind of hiding the object.
Okay.
And as they cross their blades, they rush in and cross their blades. He kind of grins and then slams it on the ground between them. So there's not really any time for her to react.
Okay. As you do this do all this in one fluid motion, she reacts with a look. But remember, she doesn't have her divinity, so she doesn't know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
She can't know until its effects happen. As she sees you detonate it, she gets a look of "what are you doing" on her face. And seeing your grin, for the first time ever in her entire existence, a brief moment of not necessarily fear, but worry crosses her face. And just as quick as it was there, it's gone as the smugness returns. Tormy,
Yeesh.
what is the uh, effect of it going off? Like, how does it go off?
Most people think of a bomb going out. This this is going in reverse. It's taking everything back to square one. First, there are small ripples that are in from this small or this baseball-sized thing that hits the ground, deflates, and the strings all kind of scatter out. There's a ripple that comes in, and then a further ripple that comes in, and this goes out to visibly about 600 feet. And some of the dirt here regains solidity from before previous fights happened. There's no grooves from people digging their feet in from a charge. There's no splatter of blood. It's fresh. It's new. We went
Okay.
back to the beginning when both combatants were at their peak at their first.
As this all happens, and the, for lack of a better term, smoke screen clears, she disengages from you. Not enough to like back away, but just to unlock your blades. And she stands there for a moment, confused, feeling weaker than she did before. What's your next move? What's your bonus action, if you will?
Um, action, so uh um well, since we're both now level 1 fighters, that's I don't I can't I use an item interaction as my action, so I can't attack. And the other stuff that I have, I'm already shifted, so that doesn't.
Forgive me for the misunderstanding. I meant I'm giving you a free action because she is standing there, kind of dumbfounded, like I'm
Oh.
not sure what just happened. So there would be enough of a pause and enough of a lapse in her paying attention to what's going on. You're gonna get a chance to do something.
Okay, perfect. Fine. We are going to with that. He is going to um how far did she didn't back up outside of my range? She just took a step back or so, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna close the.
Yeah, she essentially just unlocked your blades and took like 1 foot backward,
He is gonna
or took 1 step. So
he is going to close the distance again and bring the blade around once. And because okay. Yeah. He is going to he's gonna make a strike.
okay, roll to hit.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
Uh Not a crit, but it's better than I had hoped for. That is a 28.
as you swing your weapon, it snaps her back to attention, and she tries, but she cannot bring her blade up in time to block you. As your arm or your blade strikes her in the side, and you feel it rebound
I'm back.
And from where the blade hit, you can see the torn fabric, and underneath it, you can see glinting. The glinting of a metal that you've never seen before. And she kind of staggers to the side a little bit, shock on her face as she wasn't expecting your attack to move her with its force, let alone hit her.
After
she
it
just-
after it rebounds,
Okay.
he shoves the open claw forward.
Okay. Roll the hit on that.
That is on the claw. Claws are more to hit than the other ones. That's a 30.
Your claw. Where exactly were you aiming? Just making a wide swipe.
No, seeing her armor rebound, the glint of the metal that I'm not sure what it is, and the rebound of the blade, when he shoves his claw forward, it's a kind of like aiming to put a hole in like the area here,
Right in the clavicle area?
kind of in that area, yeah, and he just
Okay.
full force through.
As you go to do that, she is able to just barely sidestep you. And she just looks at you, and with the sweetest smile and the nicest voice she can muster, you didn't expect it to be that easy, did you? As you watch her grab where the cloth is torn, and she rips it off, and you see she is wearing a full suit of armor. And looking at it, you can see it is etched with divine writing. And looking at the metal, it looks like platinum, but it doesn't have the same luster and the same shine. Would you like to do anything else, or is that your turn?
Defensive stance. That's my turn.
Okay. She looks at you and brings her sword up, and a large underhanded swing. That is excuse me, a burp. First off, my apologies. But that is going to be a 27 to hit.
That misses.
Okay. You are able to backstep just out of reach of her blade as she brings it around for an overhead swing and you are able to duck as it just glances over the top of your head and takes a little bit of fur with it. You just got a haircut. But as she realizes she missed both swings, she just kind of goes, "Oh, a spry one. This should be interesting." And it is back to your turn.
He will bring the falchion around, aiming to hit towards the side like he did before.
Okay.
Check something here. Okay. That is nothing special from that. Okay. That is a 25.
Your blade strikes the armor and rebounds again. But this time you notice that it managed to hit in just the same spot at just the right angle that a piece of the armor breaks off, revealing the flesh underneath.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'd like to do something on the attempt to try something.
Okay.
As a part of an attack with the falchion, I can force a creature I get that's the wrong one because that one, let me see. That's unintended. Hitting it like this, do I get the sense that this is something that's bound to her?
What, the armor?
Yeah.
Bound how?
In the same way that I would be bound to the divine artifacts.
You mean like a tuned type deal?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Okay. My question is, and I'm going to read this for it's with the falchion, because I am using in the falchion, this can be used at will. I can make the attack target like they're a tuning of one of their weapons or one of their items. It doesn't say just weapon. But I must be aware of the item being magical and attuned to them. That's why I was asking.
Okay,
That's why I'm wondering if there's something I can do to like make a check or something to see if I could determine that.
Yeah, you can give me an arcana.
Good thing is I'm not really good at Arcana. Let's roll this dice. In the fucking box. 23.
You can tell that the armor is kind of attuned to her, but you can tell it's not magical.
Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to go at another claw attack.
Okay.
And this time I'm gonna aim kind of center mass with the strike to see if I can't. Actually, no. When the blade rebounds off the part that starts to chip, he's gonna go for a strike towards that near that same area to see if he can't drag more of it off.
Okay. Fair.
Claw. That I don't think is gonna do it. That's well, it might actually because it's actually 24.
You swing your claw across, and you can feel your claws kind of grab the edge of it where the piece fell off, but it doesn't make purchase.
Okay.
And it just leaves a deep scratch mark along the armor.
And I'll just retake my defensive stance.
She staggers a little, and then you can see rage behind her eyes as she looks at you. And that's not going to hit, and you're going to get an opportunity attack.
Perfect. I'll
Nat
take
one.
it. I'll take it.
Okay.
No way. That's a fucking 20. Woo! That's 20. That's a total of 30.
That hits. Critical success. How do you want to do this?
As
Is
she
your
misses, as she misses, the blade starts to glow. And
okay?
if you remember correctly, when I first entered this, I told you with all the shit that he had been through, you know, and all the time that he had spent with the cloak, it had kind of fashioned itself into a sleeveless trench coat for his werewolf form. It begins to just fucking billow behind him with a force. And a light seems to travel down the dark section or the dark portions of his fur, and it almost as if the silver colorations on the back of his forearms, that coloration from his back was also flowing down and meeting into the forearm and then flowing into the blade as he channels the abilities of not only the sword but also the cloak
Okay.
to increase the power of this. As he hits that spot where the armor was starting to separate, and the blade just bursts into a rage of power, and he stares at her in the eyes as time seems to slow for a moment. And with a serious but at the same time calm tone, I truly believe that you sought to ruin everything in this world. And for that, it is my duty to stop you. And he forces it through.
Okay. Junker. Drackery.
Yes.
And I say this knowing of Drackery's high ass investigative score. or no, not investigation, so that wouldn't matter. High perception score, I should say. I need perception checks from both of you.
Okay.
And just because this is the first time I'm doing this, I'm going to try it.
That's not the right dice. You said which?
Perception.
Let's just boost that slightly more for no reason whatsoever.
That would be a 31.
Okay.
Just to be extra, I rolled a nat 20. I have a plus 10. I gave myself guidance, and I'm doing Flash of Genius for literally no reason. We have a 39.
Literally no reason the Grand Vizier has decided to be extra. I love it. Anyway, you both just out of the corners of your eye, as he had switched places with Thorin, see Pathos kind of cough. Normally, this wouldn't, matter to anything. But as he lowers his hand away from his mouth,
There's
you
blood.
you see shining silver blood. And
We did
as,
just kill his other half.
as your blade sinks in, Thorin,
Mm-hmm.
it meets the armor and it stops. And Astara just looks at you. And she says, bested by a mortal. Who would have thought it would have ended this way?
Junker raises his hand.
And you feel a searing pain rush up your arm, Thorin,
Mm-hmm.
as she just laughs. And she says, I hope you know what you're doing. And vanishes with nothing but armor and a pool of blood on the ground. You were victorious. And as you walk away, you all notice Pathos is gone as well. Where he was is a letter.
Oh,
Speckles
God.
of blood on it. As what you would expect to be cheers coming from the many gods spectating. But instead, all are silent.
I don't think Far Warren would be.
Do you pick up the letter?
It'd have to be one of the ones outside because I'm still in the middle of the thing.
Yes.
That's where the letter is with you. Where Pathos was standing
Oh, okay.
behind you.
Then yeah. Then I will pick it up.
As you pick it up, that searing pain in your arm starts to intensify just a little. As you open it and you read it, it says, "My dear friends, if you are reading this, it means the battle went as I had expected it to, as I was hoping it would. I will be completely honest. I have grown weary over the many eons of my existence. There was a time when I thought my other half and I could be rejoined and things would be as they once were. But with everything that has gone on and transpired, I now see my folly. To those of you who went on this grand journey of yours, the Thorin who took my place in this fight, no doubt you're beginning to feel the effect. I am sorry to say that unfortunately they will get worse before they get better. What you are experiencing is what happens when a mortal bests a god and ends them permanently. The pain will subside,
Yes.
but
Suffering Taco Bell.
the pain will subside. But I am afraid you will never have use of that arm again. At least not to the full extent that you had. To Junker, one of the last Weaveborn, and he who was destined to bring it back. I hear that you have become the Weave itself, and I cannot express the joy that gave me. You have something in you that I do not see in most mortals. With your newfound responsibilities, I trust that you will endeavor to make things right where I could not. And to Drakri, I know your love of knowledge. I know your desire. The only thing I feel is right for you in helping complete this task that was given to you all can be found back at the Everest Manor. None can open it but you, but I do believe you will enjoy what it is. Now, here is the part where I must be truthful with you. In ridding the universe of Astara, I went with it. I do believe I have set things up to where, even without me, you'll be alright. And to my precious granddaughter, Saravine, I have left you your own letter that you can find in your office. Best of luck, and do the right thing, as I know you have so many times. And at the bottom, it's signed out Pathos and is sealed with the symbol of a phoenix, with a small ruby embedded in the center. As you all, or as you were reading this, all of you notice that as the crowds are starting to disperse, Sardior, Bahamut, Rain, the three cardinal gods of neutrality, order, chaos, are standing there, unsure of what has transpired before they too depart, leaving a tall, cold-looking younger woman with a spindle, making eye contact with all of you, with an intense frown across her face before she, as well, vanishes. I turn it to you, Thorin. How are you going to respond to what just happened?
Well, you said there wasn't anything left of Astara on the ground, right?
Just her armor.
I am going to pick it up.
Okay.
I'm holding the letter in my fucked hand. And carrying the armor with the other. And I return to Drackery and Junker and the others. I'll take a moment, hand Junker the letter, reach back, pull out the blade, and hand it back to Drackery. Take the staff down off his back, and hand that back to Saravine. And he looks to Junker The bomb worked wonders. Guess I'm stuck this way.
Did you get her power?
There's always there may always be a price, but if you've learned anything with this group, there's always a way to fix things. We'll find a
You
way.
handed the letter to Junker, correct?
Yes.
Hmm.
Junker, roll me an Arcana check.
That's a 32.
Okay. The moment you touch this letter, knowledge pours into you. Knowledge you didn't have, but now do.
Oh, and Dracker will get his ring back too.
Thank you.
You can feel all magic leaving the world. Focusing back on you. And you know everything has been reset for you to disperse however you wish.
As this is happening, Thorin shifts back down, reaches over on the ground where he dropped the coat and his hat, and picks up the hat and sits it on his head, pulls the coat over his bad arm, and slides his other arm in. I'm not necessarily saying I'm looking for a fix to the arm. I consider that my penance for fixing an issue we caused to begin with, and taking pathos with the problem. Um, my main question was the effects of your bomb. Is it permanent, or was it just for the instance?
It only lasted a minute.
Oh. The adrenaline must still be going.
I do need to ask. He read the letter not out loud. And if he did, you guys were too far away to it. So when he said taking path with it, how did to that news?
That's why I asked if he got their power.
Oh, fair. I didn't hear you say that. My bad.
I-
I might have been on mute when I said it, because we all know I have a tendency to do that.
Fair.
I don't feel like anything more than I was before the fight started. Maybe a little more pain in the arm, and I it is what it is.
I have a few ideas. already on how to help about the arm without taking away the problem that already is there. But even if you were asking me to do it right now, I wouldn't be able to. And I need to take a little bit of time and think.
I think more of us are going to need time. What just transpired is not a light series of events. Yes, we don't have to worry about Istara shifting the world in her twisted image, but we also don't have the balancing power to counteract what has been kept at bay for so long. So,
Unless that power has shifted elsewhere, like it should have,
there's really only one person I
then
can think of that it went to. If it
then
went
it
to
would have
anybody.
shifted while they're getting used to it. There are only 3 that stand in the way of somebody else that a different group was already working on.
Yeah. No.
And I've got a lot of work ahead of me.
Sounds
Different
like you
point.
do.
Different, super different point. We just went through all of this in like the last 30 minutes. Are we still fucking dead?
I mean, considering. I don't think so, but. I mean, looking around, it's just us here, so I don't know how we're getting back home.
He just raises his finger with a ring on it.
Oh. That fight didn't take all that long, but at the moment it felt like a good bit of time passed.
Wait, if all of the magic has left the world, would we still be able to use the rings?
Junker would be the only one who knows that. Unless I missed him saying something to everyone.
Nope.
Which I
you
very well
didn't.
might have.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So, what are you guys doing?
Let's do it the easy way. He kind of pulls at the ring and lets it sit strangely at the tip of his finger and kind of rolls it. You still have a lot to think about. But this I know. Magic is going to work. And it's going to work better. This time it's got a fucking engineer. And I twist the band and we go to Greyheart Manor.
Greyheart Manor?
We go back to the manor.
Oh, Everest Manor. Got it.
Brain,
so the one,
not.
the Caro and all them Manor? Okay.
Yep.
So
The way that the ring normally works.
gotcha. You get there, and you realize what was the name of it? You realize that looking at the manor, it now sits in the middle of a Roxos. It's been ripped from its pocket dimension. Where once there was a mighty lake with rivers flowing out from it, there are now just a couple streams starting to dry up. But other than that, everything looks as it was when you left it. When you get inside, everything is fine. But feels oddly different.
Take a look around.
Yeah.
Everything's
Did
the same as it
Junker
was.
did Junker hand Drackery the letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything looks the same as it was. It's more of a feeling in the air that something's off. It's a feeling of you have everything set just so, and while you were at work, someone snuck into your house and moved everything 2 inches to the left.
Time happened here while we were gone.
What?
Time happened.
Time happened? I'll start walking through the manor.
Whereas, as you're looking, whereas everything looked pristine, everything shows its age now.
Gotcha.
This place was held by in a bubble where time didn't exist.
Can you put
Now
it
it
back?
does. I need a rest first.
Okay.
There's a couple of things that I need to figure out before I can plan everything else out. I am going to make it all work again. It's going to take a bit.
Eventually, you all make your way up through the manor into the library, and you see Caro, Killian, Lucarius, and Alar, all sitting at a table, looking exhausted. Caro looks up, sees you all, and he goes, I assume everything went well?
Ish.
What needed to be done is done.
Oh. I didn't realize you had progressed that far in your plan.
Didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah, we didn't either.
Fair enough. Would any of you happen to know why we can't use magic?
Everything's been reset and put in my hands. I need a good sleep. And then I am going to take about a week in the blink of an eye.
I see.
And magic will be fixed. But I need that sleep first.
Well, I trust in your judgment. And everything
Question for
goes-
you.
Yes.
What is Alar's reaction to Junker saying that everything has been reset and is in his hands?
He doesn't have one. He just kind of looks exhausted. His age is really showing.
Okay, I was just curious.
You're good. Caro then just goes, oh, Drackery, there's something for you on the table over there. We were told it was for you and you would know what you could do with it.
Drackery will walk over to the table.
What you see in front of you is a scroll. And when you open it to read it, it just says all the books, all the knowledge you could possibly ever need or want or have. And there's a small key taped to the bottom of it with a little dash and the letter P next to it. And then underneath it, it says, P.S. Enjoy or think.
Enjoy what?
Or thank.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, give me a sec. I might have said it wrong. Let me pull up my map. Yeah. Yeah. No, I did say it wrong. I said the name of the region, not the name of the place. It says enjoy Grasdan.
That name sounds familiar.
It should.
What,
That was the name of Pathos's dungeon. That Farwarin had to go through.
been so long since we played that game.
Right. Yeah, he just gave it to you.
Okay. I'm guessing this key will work on any lock, any door.
No, it will work on any lock and any door in Grasdan. He is literally giving you his dungeon that he had with the library and everything that's in it, including all the spooky floating
Okay.
eyeballs.
Okay.
Mind you, I don't think Dracary's been there, so he wouldn't necessarily know what. But Carol would.
He'll walk back over toward everyone else and say, "What is? Would you say the name of Grazos?
Grasdan.
Grazan.
Grasdan.
Dan.
Yeah.
Where is
GRAS.
Grazdan?
Caro just kind of looks up at you with a puzzled look on his face, and he says, "It's in the middle of the Orthanc Desert. Rumor has it that it used to be one of the most populated places on the continent, but now it's just a ruin as far as anyone who's bothered investigating it can tell."
Evidently, I own it now.
I wasn't aware anyone owned it to begin with, but fair enough.
It must have belonged to Pathos because he just gave it to me, or gave me the key to it.
Fair. And as you guys go on, continue having your conversations about this and that and what have you, Junker, you take your rest. You get your sleep. And in your sleep, you have a dream. And in this dream, it feels more like a history lesson. As you witness birth of creation and all significant events up until now. Thorin,
Mhm.
once you have gone to bed and once you've gotten your rest,
It won't take him long to get there.
Fair. You also get a dream, a vision of sorts. And it just keeps playing in your mind. Her voice, her face, her eyes staring at you. Just constantly repeating, I hope you know what you're doing. And Drakri, when you take your rest, you receive a vision of Grazdan itself, what it was long before you or any of your companions were born. The opulence, the refined nature of the buildings themselves. And then it flashes to what it looks like now on the outside. A massive ruin in the middle of a desert with ornate an ornate staircase leading up to two ornate double doors. And when it opens, shelves of books as far as the eye can. And that, my friends, is what happened in your visions. How would you like to continue?
Oh. I'm assuming we wake up at this point.
Mm-hmm. It
Thorin
is.
will. How much pain is the arm still giving him?
Have you ever had a rotten tooth?
No.
Okay, so
I
picture
I have had shingles.
that, but
Okay.
toned down by about 2 notches. Just a dull throb at this point, unless you try to overexert it, and then it's just searing.
He takes. He wakes up. He rolls off the. Slides off the side of the bed. And gonna take some of the just a little bit of the restorative ointment that he's got and spread it on the arm to see if it does anything. No, it's not. It's just that's what he would do. And then after waiting a couple of minutes and realizing it's not doing anything for him, he gives a heavy sigh, slides his coat on, and then gets dressed the rest of the way and slides his coat on, and then just kind of slowly makes his way downstairs. Not really any particular motive or destination, really. But he does have a very thoughtful expression on his face.
Junker, what do you do when you wake up?
So never mind about that week, since he just had all of history downloaded into his brain. He wakes up knowing the way that things were and how they worked with the previous weave. And everything that the weave touched. And he takes a moment to walk downstairs calmly, goes to what has become the breakfast nook, and he quietly just sits down, doesn't ask for food, doesn't ask for a drink, and he just kind of puts his hands up in front of his face. And he reaches into his coat and he brings out this small box and puts it down. And he reaches into his coat and he brings out this small bag that he empties out, which is just sand, into the
Okay.
box. He then takes out a small pen and just starts drawing lines. Come back to me after you go with the next.
Okay. Drackery, you're up. After you wake up, what is it you do?
I am gonna go into the library and find a book. About the area that Grazdan is in.
Book on Orthink.
Yes.
The area as it is now, or what it was in the past?
Both.
Okay. We'll go with as it is now first. You find a book on the geography of the continent of Orland and the continent of Silmar, and in the one on in Orland, it says the Orthanc Desert. It literally boils down to two lines, and it says what was once a flourishing oasis is now an arid desert. Now, on the other hand, with as it was, it is listed as having been one of the most populated areas on Orland, and yet at the same time one of the most flourishing and prosperous. Not a single citizen who lived in Grazdan or Jokar or Bantha, any of the cities that were located there back then, went hungry, lived in poverty. Slavery didn't exist as it was outlawed and very, very heavily enforced. And then at the center of it all was the capital city of Azdan. That was so wealthy, it made the city of Silmaria look poor.
Um, I'll go ahead and take that book and uh take it with me down as he always does for breakfast.
Okay. As you and Thorn join Junker at the table and see him drawing in the sand of his box and everything, Arrow joins you and he sits down and looks to you all and he says, "Good morning. I trust you all slept well. Judging by the looks on some of your faces, I would assume you did not."
Thorn
Okay.
just takes a seat quietly.
Penny,
He
for your thoughts.
just you never realize the weight of someone's last words when you take their life until you've done so.
Fair enough. If I may ask, just what were those last words that seemed to trouble you so?
He gives a heavy sigh. The right arm, which is the fucked up one, is crossed over his torso, kind of just resting against his legs as he's sitting down. The other one just kind of takes the hat off and sets it off to the side of the chair. Her last words were, "I hope you know what you're doing."
You see a pensive look come across his face. Ominous. Well, as I always say, no use fretting about what may pass until it.
Yes, well, depending on how things go from here, my role in all of this might be slightly reduced.
I see. Looks like you gained quite the scar from your interaction. It's to be expected when fighting a deity.
Oh. I see it less as a scar for fighting her and more of one for the repercussions that came with removing her.
Fair enough. And what of you? He says as he looks to Junker. What new contraption are you coming up with next?
The new weave.
I see.
As he finishes with what he was doing, he puts the pen down to the side and just pushes the box to the center of the table. There's neat rows of lines, there's circles. He's effectively done a Zen garden with no stones.
Okay.
Each ripple, as people look at it, are centers of life that gather. Whether that's super heavy, thick forests, whether that's cities, whether the places that need the most support have these ripples, and it shows on here. There's no borders of land, there's no borders of water, of countries. It's the world as a whole. And he leans forward, looks at those that recognize a generalized map that has points where life belong. And he takes the pen back up and he points to the largest ring of ripples and just stands the pen there. Looks up. Who's ready for it to work again?
Under your guidance, I'd be probably better than it was before.
Arrow just looks at you and he says, "As I said, and I don't say this quite often to very many, but I trust your judgment."
He just kind of, the pen is still sitting vertically, and he just calmly puts his palm on top of the pen and pushes down. Each grain of sand just kind of scatters into the air, and for just a moment, everybody here can see the entire weave start from here. Each grain of sand taking a strand of the weave and starting to stretch it.
As this happens, all of the magically inclined can feel their power returning to them. And as your new design for the weave stretches out from this point and envelops everything, you can see it as all the magic that was centered in you disperses and spreads out once again in the design of its new master. And once this is done, the shimmer that can normally be seen in Caro's eye returns as his magic is flowing through him again, and he just kind of holds his hand up in front of him and he looks at it. And then he just points at a nearby vase and it just starts to float. And he lowers it down and holds his hand out in front of him, and a small emerald green flame sparks into life. And then he puts it out, and you can see the electricity crackle across his hand. And he just looks at you and he goes, "I like it. Thank you."
For now,
Hmm?
It's more even. No bias yet. That's where they fucked up the first time. They had favorites. We started with them.
Explain.
When my kind were first put here, before everything started going wrong with them, before they got power hungry, in the original design, there were places that were favored, places that went without. This guarantees no drought, and this guarantees that the places that need it most will have the concentration needed to pull, while the places that don't need it as much are still covered. There's no dead zones anymore.
Fair enough.
And the anchors, the nodes, they're not going to be used to contain anything ever again.
That's wise.
They were only ever made to be a conduit. Making them a jail made other problems.
A wise decision. As I said, I was right to trust your judgment. Well, my
So-
friends, where to next?
Um, does Drakery looks at Junker and says, "Does that mean that the magic around Grasden was probably gone, and that's why it fell into from a great flourishing area to a desert?"
Inequality does have a way of tipping the scale. If there was a depletion of the weave in that area, it wouldn't have anything to support the extra weight. It would not support life as easily. It's one of the things that people seem to forget the most when it comes to magic. Yes, the weave is everywhere. But people forget that it's not just the arcane. It's nature, it's life. If it wasn't fed, it was dying. It can live again.
And as all of you are having these all across the world, areas that were dead zones and completely wiped out start to grow again. Where there was once arid, rocky mountains, trees and grass and life has returned to them. Where there were once deserts, oases have formed. Life is balancing itself back out. Everything had been reset and given a new chance. So, my friends, I again ask, what next?
I have to go speak to somebody and get the shit slapped out of me.
Uh, good luck with that. Um,
I'd like to go to Grasdown and take a look.
You have your ring.
Yes.
And you have your earring, so you can stay in contact.
Oh, that's true.
I should.
We can go our separate ways and call on each other.
I stand up slowly, and he picks up the hat as he stands and walks over to a window and looks outside. We still in Araxos?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't
Sits
shifted it.
he sits the hat back on his head. There's somebody I should pay a visit to as well. Probably likely get the shit slapped out of me as well.
Are you going
Caro,
back?
Caro just chuckles. You know, when all of this went down and I looked outside and found that we were here, I happened to notice just where, and Shivanti is only about a half day's ride, and I took it upon myself to figure you would want to go.
I should pay them a visit. Is the Does anybody remember where we left our horses?
Which ones?
I had a personal horse. I don't remember ever getting rid of him, but at the same time, I don't. So much has happened.
I think it was the last time I remember us having horses was in when we went to meet with Alex.
Perhaps I'll just put the ring to use. Moving
Caro,
shifted.
Caro just speaks up and says, before all of this went down, I took the liberty of having your horse brought here. He's in the stable.
I appreciate that. Running
Uh,
like I usually would is out of the question at the moment.
oh, we haven't been back and wait a second. And he reaches in his bag and he pulls out the scroll and hands it to Caro. The letter from Thinris.
I was like, scroll? What scroll? I don't remember a scroll, but he Kara takes it, unravels it. Very well. Rolls it back up, sets it on the table. I'll have it ready for you in 2 days. First, though, I have a shop to reopen. And that, my friends, is where we're going to call it for the night. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone at home watching, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And for those who have been following, I'm sorry for pulling at your heartstrings if I in fact did that. But like I said, join us. Join the games, and if that's not your thing, we have live RP. Either way, come tell some stories with us. And as always, may the dice ever be in your favor. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night.